All right, real quick. Here's the skinny. I'm gonna just do this one real fast. Blast, just a blast. I've been drinking some whiskey. The skinny on the Nibiru and the second sun. Okay, and this is all gonna come together. Here's your puzzle pieces, right? You got chemtrails. Okay, guess what the chemtrails are doing? Blocking out the fucking sky so you can't see this shit with the naked eye, right? But you can see it in Alaska, and they're going to start seeing it in Russia here pretty soon, and they're also going to see it in China, and they're just going to end that shit. You're not going to be able to hide it, CIA. This shit's going to be all over the fucking internet. It already is, man. I know y'all are doing a good job covering it up so far. I don't think the military's the one blocking the shit out so you can't see it with the naked eye. I mean, there's good reasons for that, but this whole controlling people's minds shit, that's crossing the line. So you got the chemtrails that are controlling people's minds too, because it's nanotechnology and nanoparticles and ionize the atmosphere. But it serves so many purposes. I mean, this is like a very useful tool here. You're gonna block out the damn the fact so you can't see it with the naked eye. You're gonna use the chemtrails to cover it up, and then you've got an ionized atmosphere, which creates a fucking Borg basically, and makes everybody fucking controlled by nanotechnology and. Electricity flows through the fucking air, so everybody's controlled. I mean, and then, okay, let's say that whenever the sun does get eaten by our sun, which is what I think is going to happen, you're going to have the two suns and the planet's going to get eaten by our sun, which is going to give the sun a whole lot more fuel, just like that. And when that happens, well, it's going to get hot as fuck. So now you got all of this shit up in the atmosphere that's going to block that heat for us when it happens, right? I'm really think this is what's going on. Don't quote me on all of this, but trust me, altogether, it's pretty much the gist of it. Now, let me tell you what's going on with Nibiru and this sun that's out there. That sun was out there pretty good ways off, right? And it's got this one planet, we think, just one planet, that's got kind of it looks like it's got an oblong orbit around that sun. And then we've got our huge sun over here with like a shitload of planets, 8, 9 planets or whatever. Now you combine all of that mass, right? You've got our sun and you've got all of our planets. That's a lot of mass. And in space, it's not the size of something necessarily. It's the mass. How dense is it? How thick is it? And when you're in space, anytime you're in space, any two objects floating in space are going to be attracted to each other, right? They're going to have gravity. They're going to pull to each other. The denser the planet or whatever it is, the more it's going to pull into each other. Now, think about this now. You got this one little sun out there, right? And you've got one planet going around that little sun that's been out there in the distance for a while, right? And we've got all of these planets in our big sun, which makes a whole lot of mass, right? It's a lot of mass. Well, when you combine all of that mass that we've got together in comparison to the sun and Nibiru or Planet X or whatever it's called, when it's been making that oblong track, that planet comes close to her over the years, it's just a real long orbit. When it comes close to us, it's pulling its sun closer to us, because every time it comes close to us, all of the mass in our planets and our sun pull that whole system into us, right? And the biggest thing we have is the sun, right? Our sun is the biggest thing in the solar system. It's got the most mass, and it's going to be the big boy that's going to gobble all this shit up. Now, here's where it could get really nasty. Something you got to think about. Once our sun has devoured that planet and that sun, its mass is going to be a lot more, right? And not only is it going to get hotter, but its mass is going to be a lot more. Now, once that mass gets to be a lot more, the planets in our solar system are going to be more attracted to the sun. So we're going to start going into the sun slowly over time, years and years. But if you believe in God, here's where this may really work out, the sun's going to, I'm talking millions and billions of years it would take for our planets to just ease into the sun, right? Now stop and think, okay? At some point, our sun's going to start burning out, and it's not going to be as hot. It's over a billion years from now. And hey, if you want to believe in God's plan, stop and think. If the sun over time starts burning out like that, but it had all that mass that just brought the planets in closer and closer to it, well, as it's burning out, the planets would be getting closer and closer to it. Earth would be getting closer and closer to it as it's burning out, right? I mean, hey, if you better be real spiritual and believe in God and know a little bit about physics to be following me here. If you don't have all of that, well, don't even watch this fucking video, because otherwise we're just going to die if this doesn't happen. But over time, while the sun's getting smaller and burning out, if we're getting closer to it while it's burning out, well, it makes up for it. You know what I'm saying? And hey, that's like the ultimate God's plan, okay? If you are spiritual and you believe in God, that's what I would go with, because the alternatives aren't looking too good here. Some technology might be able to get us out of some really hot spells and stuff like that. But the worst case scenario is one of these son of a bitches run into us, right? But considering that the sun has that much more mass than everything else, once it pulls this celestial system into us, it's probably going to gobble all that shit up. But the problem, like I said, the problem with that is now you've got more mass in the sun, which is going to make all of our planets want to go into the sun. You see what I'm saying? So there's not much you can do about it, really. Lockheed Martin probably could. They got solutions for everything. And stop and think for a second. I'm not 100% sure about this, but let's say this little piece of paper is floating in space, and this big old pack of cigarettes is floating in space. It should be just as easy to move this big pack of cigarettes as it would be this little piece of paper, because they're both floating in space. They're weightless. They're weightless in space, right? There's no gravity. The only gravity is its gravity. You see what I'm saying? That's something you could work out. It's going to take a whole lot of fucking technology. And I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not a physicist. I'm just a smart redneck. So, you could get a physicist that might actually be able to figure that out a little bit more. But, maybe, I'm thinking like a really big ship. Or you could just mount a fucking turbine engine in the earth, and every day at noon on one side of the planet, just fire it off. I know that's ridiculous, but hey, if you're talking about the end of the world and you get China, Russia, America, and Japan together to start coming up with a fucking turbine engine that you could park on the fucking planet and make it a damn spaceship, it could actually happen. I mean, it really could, believe it or not. But yeah, that might be something y'all want to. Yeah, that's at least kind of far-fetched, man. But they're talking about turning meteors or another thing you could do is go out into deep space somewhere and lasso a meteor that's already coming this way and start. I mean, it's hauling ass, right? And you get up next to it with a ship and you just dock on it somehow. You get a way to attach to it. So this thing's hauling ass towards us, where this fucking rock and the sun's coming at us. If it's looks like it's gonna hit Earth, and you hook onto that meteor and you steer that meteor into the planet and just blow that son of a bitch out of the way, man. Just knock it out of the water and hope there wasn't any aliens on it. And if there is any aliens on it, as they're getting closer to our sun, it ain't gonna fucking matter. They're gonna get burned up anyway. But yeah, so food for thought from Joe Blow from the Bow. Little old me. Two quick things I want to add to that. I got to thinking about it. With the two objects, the piece of paper and the pack of cigarettes, the only way that would work would be a push. Because if you tried to pull it, Earth's gravity is going to be working as an imposing force, pulling you into Earth. So you'd want to be on the backside of Earth, pushing it, right? And then, literally, it's a piece of paper and a pack of cigarettes. It doesn't matter what, it's fucking weightless in space. It's literally. Now, you can't pull it. You got to push it, right? You got to push it. You can't pull it. You got to push it. And it doesn't matter how big it is. The other thing that I wanted to point out, you're talking about a star that's huge. I said it's all about mass. I'm not a scientist. I didn't go to school for fucking planetary shit or anything like that. I just happen to be decent at physics. I don't suck at it. If the sun is just a big old gas, it's all gas, right? We think it is. I'm pretty sure that's what I learned in school. But just because it's really big doesn't mean that it has more mass. So let's just hope that the sun has more mass than Earth, because if it's the other way around, well, yeah, we're gonna pull that shit into Earth, or we're the third rock from the sun and we're the most mass, right? However, now you got, we're not all just lined up just right. In orbit, the planets are all around the sun in different locations. All that'll be in play. Okay, you'll have Jupiter and everything else trying to pull on it. But I'm just assuming that the sun has more mass than anything else, because it's like 3 million times bigger than the fucking Earth or some shit like that. I can't remember, but it's a lot bigger. Even though it's all gas, it's that much bigger that it has more mass. Fingers crossed. NASA probably knows a little more about that than I do. Maybe. Getting weird here. Fucking AI is kind of. Yeah. Little old me.
I don't have, secretaries and, like producers or anything like that. However, anybody that does is telling you a bunch of fucking lies. However, a lot of these movies, if you know what to look for, that Hollywood cranks out, it's actually got a lot of true shit in there. And a lot of songs, too, like Black Hole Sun, that's uploading right now. Anyways, so what I'm getting at is, this is as professional as I'm going to get. I'm not going to get any fucking more professional than this, because I just don't get paid for this shit, and I should, because I got tortured, and there's AI here that's illegally invaded my fucking mind, and the government knows it. Everybody in the government knows what's going on, especially the media, who is the government, by the way. I'm pretty sure that they're all CIA. So, yeah, fuck sticks, this is as professional as I'm going to get for you dumb motherfucker, especially you media. Y'all are just a bunch of ignorant motherfuckers, you know that? And y'all are probably promised to be elite for whenever you have to go underground and all that shit. You're gonna get fucked. If that's what you were promised. But see, I live out here on the bayou where I catch fish and shit. You ever see Water's World, wherever he went and down on the bayou in New Orleans? And he had to, he was pulling that Nutri-Rat out of the bayou, and he looked like a little bitch. Guess what, y'all over there? I kind of like Waters. He seems to be one of the better ones, I guess. But, yeah, all you up there in New York and shit. Yeah, I'm probably going to starve to death when all this happens, because the elite's going to leave you above ground, and they're going to be down fucking bottom eating canned fucking food. I'll probably have some lobster and shit down there, too, for it last them a little while. But, yeah, I'll be down there on the bayou eating my fucking trout. And probably be a whole lot of trout. If, the whole situation may change. I may be catching marlin in my backyard. Who fucking knows, right? But here's the deal. So this is that oblong. It took a long time to get to this. Here's the oblonged orbit around that other sun that's being dragged into our solar system, right? So this here, what you have here, is a celestial system. So it's just a celestial system. It's being dragged into our much more massive solar system because we got all this mass. You add all these planets up, including our sun's pretty big, okay? I don't know how far away these videos are that are showing the sun next to our sun. It may be way out there and it's smaller, or it may be right next to it and it's about to get gobbled up. It's hard to say. You can't tell. Only fucking instrumentation that NASA has would be able to tell you what's going on there. But let's hope it's smaller, okay? If it's bigger, it's going to get ugly. I can tell you that right now. Now, you add up all this mass right here. Boop, mass. Okay, and all that is way bigger than this celestial system. It's pulling this thing in, right? It's just pulling it in here. And what's going to happen, hopefully these planets are clear the day that it decides to really pick up speed, because now it's got momentum, right? And it is coming. Okay, because all of this mass right here is pulling it in. And the other thing you need to hope is that this sun, our sun, has more mass than Earth. Okay, let's just hope that our sun has more mass than Earth. Okay, it's a whole lot, 3 million times bigger or something like that, and it's made out of gas. Now, Earth is dense. It's rock and shit like that. If Earth is more dense than the sun, well, all this shit's going to come and hit us, okay? Because we're the third rock from the sun. Now, another scenario that would work out great is if Earth was on the backside over here and Jupiter was up here, right? So if you had Earth back here and it just so happened that Jupiter was up here and it collided with Jupiter and kind of stayed stationed, just about any one of these scenarios is going to have some really bad consequences. But the last thing you want is this planet or this sun to be pulled into Earth, which may be more dense than the sun, but I don't think it is. Only reason I think it could be is because it's all gas. And Jupiter supposedly, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I learned about this shit, but I still know physics, okay? Two objects in space will be attracted to each other. Whichever one has the most mass will be the one that wins the tug of war. Is that going to be Earth or is that going to be the sun? Is the Earth going to be back here on the backside when it gets pulled in with a whole lot of momentum? Or is it going to be up here on the front side? If we're up here on the front side, well, yeah, we're fucked. End of the game. Game over. So hopefully Lockheed Martin, with their big-ass budget that's about to increase exponentially throughout the world, I hope, I would have to say that China, Russia, and Japan's probably earmarking at least $500 billion apiece for their budget next year. They could probably come up with some sort of technology that's going to have to be pretty impressive. I think they already have it. It's on the backside of the moon. They've been knowing about this for a long time, by the way, and they're really hoping that their equipment that they got on the backside of the moon is going to work. Let's hope so. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, little old me, Joe Blow from the bio. Some people think I'm Jesus. I'm not. I'm the archangel.
All right, media. This sort of wrap it up for you right here. Whenever I was talking about y'all thought you would be elite. Well, guess who's going to be eating good down here on the bow? It won't be you.
I got him! Take off the pink earmuffs and you'll get down and be able to pick it up. With my hand? Yes, with your hand. Oh, no way! Oh, no, I don't want to do it! I don't want to do it! I don't want to do it! I can't do it! I can't do it! Jesse, I'm fixing to make you put them pink earmuffs back on.
Nostrovia.
Here. Look. Okay! That's good! You guys are disgusting. Thank you. We're going fishing?
Played him like a fiddle.